All right, so we are going to dive into time this week. Time is not something that we have talked about yet in second grade, but it is something that you talked about in first grade. In first grade, you worked on time to the hour and half hour, and that's what we're going to review today. So before we start our review, let's review our types of clocks. So this right here is an analog clock, and it has two hands on it right now. We have a short hand, which is going to be our hour hand, which is this red hand right here, and it's going to point to show the hour that we are in. There are 24 hours in a day. Now, if you look, this clock only has 12 numbers on it. So there are 12 hours in the morning, and then there's 12 hours in the evening. And we'll get more into that later this week, but for right now, we're going to figure out how to tell the time using the analog clock. So right now, our hour hand is pointing to the 3, and then our minute hand is pointing up to the 12. And that shows that it is actually 3 o'clock. It is right on the hour, just started 3 o'clock. Our blue hand, this minute hand, will be what will show us our minutes past the hour. Now, to look at this in a digital clock form, this is our digital clock. This is what you see in our school hallways under our speakers. You see it maybe on your microwave or the oven, something like that. But it's going to have some numbers and then a colon or a set of dots and then another set of numbers. So to match that analog clock that we just looked at, the first number we have is a 3, and that shows that, again, we're in the third hour, and it was 3 o'clock, so there are 0 minutes yet into that hour. So let's kind of look and apply some of that. So looking at this clock right now, I have 10 o'clock shown. My short hand is pointing to the 10, and my long hand is pointing to the 12. You always look at that short hand first. So looking at the short one, it's at the 10, and at the long one is at the 12, so I know it is 10 o'clock. Now, we can tell time to the half hour as well as the hour. So right now, we can tell that it's 10 o'clock. But if we go halfway into the hour, what time would it be then? So when we look at this clock, there are 12 numbers. And if we think back to our partitioning, if I was to draw a straight line down the middle from where the hour starts to where it ends, we would end at the 6. So let's add 30 minutes because that's what half an hour is. And you can see that my hour hand moved from on the 10 to in between the 10 and 11 because that hour hand, as the minutes tick by, it's going to slowly start to move to get ready to be on that 11. But it's not there yet. So we're going to look at it and we're going to say, okay, well, it's not on the 10 and it's not on the 11. So what hour are we in? You can actually kind of hook back or circle back to what the last number was. So it was on the 10 when it was 10 o'clock, and we're working our way through that 10 o'clock hour. So we're still in 10 o'clock because we have not yet gotten to 11. So looking at the hour, we're still at 10 o'clock, and then our minute hand is pointing to the 6, which I said was half past 10 then, or we could say even 10:30. And to find that, we count by fives on these numbers. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So it is 10:30. I add 30 more minutes. So now we have 2 halves, which make a whole, and it is now 11 o'clock. Now I can add 30 minutes again, and it's going to show the hour hand between the 11 and 12, and we can hook back to see it's still in the 11 o'clock hour, and my minute hand is on the 6, so I know it is 11:30. Now, what that would look on a digital clock is like this. Again, you have your hour, so 11, your set of dots or colon, and then 30 to show 11:30. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, let us know.